We are live, everyone. How we
What's up?
doing? Hopefully you can come and join us. I know this one's a little bit different timing, but we've just been trying to figure out, obviously, what works not only for me, but obviously with Zach's work schedule as well, and then trying to make it work as per usual with the different international viewers that we have. So as we go through these lives, obviously we're going to make them work as best as we can for everyone, not only us, but you guys as well. So hopefully if you can make this one, it's early Saturday morning, 8 a.m. here in Australia. We'd be over midnight, hitting midnight. People might be heading to bed over on the European side. And then over in Zach's world, we're in a Friday afternoon. So I'm not sure if you're all finishing work on your way home. What's going on? Maybe let us know in the comments. What are you guys up to right now?
Stuck in traffic, probably.
Stuck in traffic, or, you know, trying to maybe hitting some overtime, getting some more card funds in that account for the weekend. Let us know what you're up to. But for this live, Zach, we're gonna have to prompt the people because it didn't happen last time. But we want your comments, questions in the comments below. So whether you're leaving this as an after comment, if you're watching this live at another time, that is quite fine. You can, if you've got a question, UFC related, of course, whether it's cards, fights, events, your favorite fighters, whatever the question is, as long as it's UFC related, get it into us in the comments section below. And same for you in the chat there, people in the chat. If you want to leave a question in the chat, we will get to it during this live or during a future collab, whether it be on Zach's channel. Zach, you're up next for UFC 316, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. I'm nervous about that one. That's a big event for me personally. But yeah, Zach, anything been going on card-worthy? Obviously, you're always keeping busy with videos and putting stuff out. Anything to tell the people?
I'm working on a mega video. I was telling Damien behind the scenes earlier. I'm working on a video that is really digging into some details. It's answering some questions that I think maybe you guys will find interesting. It's going to be what is the best rookie class from the modern era. So I'm going from 2020 up until the most recent release, 2024. A ton of different metrics to explore. I'm hoping to get that one out maybe in a week or two, but I've been messing with that. Also, I've been trying to sell some more cards. I put some cards up on ComC, Damien, and I've actually sold a few of them. I still haven't made my money back because you have to list kind of up front. Whenever they list them, you have to pay for it. But it's been an interesting experiment, and I am cautiously optimistic and excited for maybe selling some cards and having to do very minimal work with ComC. So I've been messing a little bit with that as well.
Yeah, nice. So I've actually myself sent off, started doing some stuff for ComC. Obviously, it might change internationally now with depending what happens with tariffs and such. But yeah, probably a month, 6 weeks ago, I sent a box off to them. Obviously, they got a slow turnaround time in terms of receiving cards, but that is what it is. Obviously, you know, they're getting, I'm sure, thousands and thousands of cards every day, but I will also be interested. So we're good to be checked back in with both of us actually to see how that's been working for both of us. But yeah, I thought that would be a fun avenue to try as well for in terms of selling cards, because I know you've had a few people on your channel with some collabs, people who have done the same thing and had good results. So what I want to start off for the first thing is this Topps Chrome release. A bit of speculation here. Obviously, I know, Zach, you're pretty close with the Topps executives over there at the moment. You know, you're getting the early access to the checklist. You're getting all these early image releases from the fighters themselves. Zach,
if only, man, if only.
We're almost halfway through the year at the moment, and we still haven't had our first release. So obviously, I did check the Topps website. It says stay tuned, no release date as per yet. But if we are to bring that crystal ball back, which we haven't had out for a little while now, but we're going to bring it back, the crystal ball. When do you think Topps Chrome 2025 gets released? Let's give an estimated date.
Dude, like you said, it's been 6 months already. We're 6 months into 2025. One, which is crazy that we're already 6 months into 2025. I feel like it was New Year's, like, you know, that's how you know you're getting old, when time starts moving just insanely fast like that. we're all getting old. We're all gonna die one day, guys. Watching this, we're one step away from just ending it and going into the void. But to change the subjects from philosophy into cards, I think they're gonna drop it in like late June or early July. And the only reason I say that is because they usually give us like 2 or 3 weeks, as an update, and I feel like they can't wait much longer. So like it's got to be late June or early July, or else they're literally going to have to pump out 5 or 6 products in like 6 months, or they're going to be so over into 2026 that we're going to be opening 2025 products like 7 months into 2026, which would be absolutely insane. I hope that doesn't happen. But some of the stuff that I've seen, I was actually checking out 2025 Chrome WWE, and some of those cards are pretty nice. Some of the designs are pretty fun. I like some of the parallels. So I am like cautiously optimistic that maybe it will be a good release once we finally get that date and once they actually get that to us. But yeah, man, they're taking their sweet time with giving us any information on 25 Chrome.
They must be waiting on those Mick to Big autos to get back to
Yeah.
back to the country. But yeah, no, I got to agree with that. It has to be June. I don't think it's going to be. If it's July, like
That's crazy.
just think of, we're going to have at least 4 or 5 releases for 2025, and then you're thinking if it's July, unless they're doing a release every month, which wouldn't be that smart on their own behalf as well, because if you're doing just pumping out releases, you're not getting the optimal sort of buyers in for the previous release. So just thinking as a business tactic, so you would think that if we do get it in July, for example, even if it's late June, which as you said, I agree, it's got to be latest June, because we've got 1 more week left here in May. So if we're talking about, getting released out in there, getting a pre-release sale for some of the hobby boxes as well, they need at least 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks, as you said. Hopefully we get a checklist before the boxes go live as well. That would be helpful for people who are wanting to buy in this year. But yeah, if it's getting late June, start of July, like that's cutting it short in terms of getting the other 2025 product out there. And then obviously we're backing up 2026, then the start of 2026 with 2025 product again. And I understand that can happen when a manufacturer takes over a license again, they're trying to get things ironed out and things sorted, and especially when we're talking about on-card autographs can get delayed, but that's why they bring in redemptions. So hopefully it's mid-June. I got faith. I think we're going to hear something in the next week in terms of a release date, and then I hope it's mid-June, because we're getting towards the end of June, early July, as you've said. I think it's going to be a bit frustrating in terms of other releases for 2025. But I do agree, if you take a look, although I don't agree with all the parallels that we've seen, and hopefully, as I said, I would be surprised if they don't have the same amount of parallels in terms of Topps Chrome, but that is what it is now for modern day cards in 2025. But there are some nice designs, and I am pretty excited in terms of, getting that checklist out, seeing what the rookie classes are, and also I do have hope for 2025 Chrome designs this year. Let us know what you guys think. What do we got? We'll say Matty Mac. We'll get over the chat now. Matty Mac is up. He's got his coffee. I unfortunately have not had my coffee yet.
Come on, dude. What are you doing?
Running
Get some
off an oily
coffee
rag.
on board.
Running off an oily rag at the moment. We've got Objecto. Buzz in the house. Cheers, brother. 6 p.m. while visiting Montreal. So Buzz has made the live. We appreciate you, mate. Gem card collecting is here. Let's go. Hit that like button. Thank you, Gem card. Great point, Zach. We got about 3,000 likes on our previous live on your channel. I know we're over here at Main Event Cards, which we're not as popular, but what do we think,
yet.
Zach?
But you're surging through the rankings, dude. You're the hot new prospect.
How many likes do we want for this one, mate?
Didn't we do like 16 last time? Let's try 17.
All right, yeah, it's good.
17 likes.
We're here for the long haul, so we'll gradually increase it.
I won every single live.
Yeah. Till we get to 100.
Oh yeah.
Gem card collecting also said thoughts on Yair versus Vault 2. Don't know if it's official, but seen a lot of.
Don't want to see it, Damien. Don't want to see it. It was such a beatdown. It was so one-sided. We have some really surging contenders right now. I feel like I feel like that's honestly like the worst thing that the UFC could do, is to push Jair into a fight again against Volk. Now it's good for Volk's legacy. So if you're a Volk collector out there, if you're a Volk fan, maybe you want to see that. But like, that fight was so one-sided. When I saw that news too, I was like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't want that at all. I would rather have you give like a person that maybe is not as deserving as Yair a title shot, than let him get another title shot again.
And we have just lost Zach. But that's all right. Zach, your camera's off there, mate. Not sure what's going on. But Objecto, as Zach tries to figure out what's happened there, walked into 3 sports card shops here. Not a single UFC card for sale at any of them. So that was Objecto there in Montreal. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. As I said, I was in the States last year, and it was hard. I think I found a few UFC cards in the card boxes that were like 10 cents a card or something like that. And they had a few blaster boxes and things like that, but wasn't too interested in the new product. But I think, if we're fast forwarding, you'd like to think in a few years' time, we can get Zach, we got you back here, mate.
We back.
Right.
Back, dude. Technical difficulties. Sorry, guys.
Technical difficulties, guys. Yep. As we kick from studio, that's Zach.
Per usual.
So sorry, Zach. The old Zach's gone. Now we are back to the new Zach. So we're back online. But yeah, hopefully, if we fast forward, say 5-ish years, I think there's going to be a lot more UFC product in terms of not only new boxes, but I think there'll be a lot more singles available too, just as the UFC card community tends to grow. And we just lost Zach again. Hopefully, as he gets back, Matty Mac, UFC should be doing Chrome Black. Fantastic product. I must admit, check it out. I have not heard of Chrome products, Chrome Black. Zach, you're back again.
But I'm just forth, dude. Every 2 seconds, I'm going to come back.
Just trying to make yourself as rare as an out of 10 parallel. UFC, Have you heard Chrome Black? Have you ever heard of that? You're a little bit more in tune with other sports.
I think didn't Star Wars do Chrome Black? I know they did Chrome Black, Chrome Sapphire, Topps Chrome. Those are, I think, the 3 that I'm somewhat familiar with. Of those 3, I think I would most rather have Topps Chrome or Sapphire. But Black is cool, but it's kind of like a little more sleek, I guess. Less vibrant, less colors. Obviously, the Black's in the name, but they are pretty nice. So
more portrait style. I'll have to check it out. NFTs in the house. What's up? What's going on, man? Good to see you.
What up, dude?
That is here. Deleted him.
He said, "Get that guy off the screen, dude." Tired of looking. What was I forgot. Oh, it was Volk Yair. You were like, "This take is terrible. Fucking get him out of here."
That was all YouTube algorithm, wasn't me. So I don't tell you that. Much interest in Australia shops? No, actually. And Matty Matt can attest to this. I've been to, so basically, if cards are not that big of a thing in terms of retail here in Australia, and if it is, it's like Pokemon and more TCG stuff. So like your big chains, we've got like Big W, Kmart, Target. We have Target here, but they have some basketball stuff, some soccer stuff, and Pokemon. Haven't seen UFC here. I was actually on a hunt, and I'm going to do a video on that actually. Just me talking to myself, heading around the shops at Australian Mall in Australia, trying to find some UFC cards, but yeah, not much going on. So yes, I am still in Australia, and I will be here permanently from now on, for those who are wondering about that. 2.0 Zach is back.
He's faster, he's smarter, he's better.
Zach with a new mic. Yeah, good pick up there. Zach's
hopefully it sounds better, guys.
Is that the exact one that Rogan uses? Or
yeah, the exact same model. Actually, this is an old one that Rogan had. He was like, hey Zach, do you want this? I was like, yeah, I'll take it, Joe. Thanks, man. So now we got the Rogan mic on board.
Nice. UFC 316. So I want to talk about this. Julian, obviously it's headlined by my guy, Sean O'Malley, who is going to be and new again, second time, 2-time world champion in the bantamweight division. But the co-main event is Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. And I want to put it out there. If Kayla Harrison beats Pena, is she the Booker's biggest rookie from 2024 product to date? Zach, what are your takes on this comment?
I got a two-parter here, a bifurcation two-parter. I think it depends on what you mean by biggest rookie for the 2024 product. I mean, as we know, Diego Lopez is, has some monster sales. He has that one around 12K. I think Kayla's biggest sale is like 35 hundo, so a pretty big gap between those two. So if we look at it from like a selling perspective, I still think Diego, even if Kayla beats Pena, is still going to be the biggest rookie. I don't think any of her cards are going to sell for more than like around that 12K price, which is insane. But if we think about, success within the UFC, I mean, we saw Diego getting a good fight, a competitive fight with Volk, but he ended up losing. So technically, if Kayla wins, she would be the most successful rookie from 2024. And then if she wins, man, which we'll probably get into in a second, but we could have some massive fights if she calls out Nunez. So what do you think about Harrison if she gets the dub?
I think you're right. I don't think, as you said, there is, I was talking about more from from a value standpoint in terms of should she have the highest selling rookie card from 2024 product. And obviously, yeah, the other bigger name in there was Diego Lopez. We've talked about this numerous times. 2024 product in terms of rookie class was lacking. We've got promising hopes for 2025 to be much better. But yeah, I think it was a close fight with Diego versus Volkanovski. Obviously, Volkanovski's been at the top there for a long time. But I kind of personally just would selfishly like to see Kayla get a little bit more love in terms of just a rookie class, someone who has came from this product. It's obviously not her rookie card in terms of first ever, and even MMA cards. She had PFL cards back from Upper Deck. And she even has like some wrestling cards from 2012. But UFC licensed, rookie cards is what we're talking about for 2024. I just think it would be cool to see if she wins this title. Maybe she could have some big blowout sales, maybe some 1-on-1 sales, for example. If they're out there floating around, people put them on the market, and we can get some pretty high sales. And over that, as you said, that 12 grand benchmark for Diego, we can get some maybe 15K sale for Kayla. I think that would just be cool to see within the UFC market at the moment, and see some movement heading in the right direction in terms of a relatively new rookie for UFC winning a title and then getting a big sale. I think would be a great direction for UFC cards at the moment. We'll check the comments.
I completely agree, man. I mean, I would like that to happen, but knowing how collectors view, women's MMA is almost always a lower price point when it comes to resale and rookies. And I mean, that just seems to always be the standard, basically. Also, the fact that Kayla Harrison is a little bit older when it comes to rookies, like her time is now. And I mean, she has made it to the big show relatively quick, but like how many more years does she have? I mean, maybe 2-3 years. So we're talking about maybe 3 or 4 more fights before she's kind of really starting to break down and age out. But we'll see what happens. 12K is a big sale though, so I would bet no on her breaking that 12K. But to be determined. Maybe she goes out and absolutely steamrolls Pena, which I think everyone would like to see that. Maybe there's some big Pena fans out there, but I think her winning would be good for the division. And then potentially maybe she calls out Amanda Nunez. Do we get Nunez coming back? That would be insane. You have imagine the poster, Damien. You have freaking Kayla Harrison out there just trapped up, Death Star delts, absolutely ripped, staring off with Amanda Nunez. I think that'd be a good fight.
I do agree. As we've lost Zach again, camera. We've lost Zach again. Just a camera. Are you still there, audio-wise, Zach? Or
no, I don't know.
Oh no,
I don't know where where am I right now? I talked about the void earlier, and I am getting sent to the void in this podcast today.
Apparently, you're in an OBS studio somewhere, because that's the symbol we're getting up here. But anyway,
why is the OBS coming on here? I don't even have OBS installed on this computer.
I don't have it installed on this computer either. Apparently, StreamYard use OBS. But anyway, as we get Zach back here, Matty Mac wants to know what should be next for Sean Brady. I don't think it should be a title fight, I'll tell you that, because he had 2 fights back since Bilal TK. He's been the only fighter like Bilal TK. I don't know. We're going back like 2 years ago now.
Well, I think he's been Gilbert and Leon. I believe, are the two that I can think off the top of my head. Those might be the only two dubs
I think they
or
are
fights
the
that he's
only.
had.
I think he's had max 2 fights since that loss. So I mean, that welterweight division is so stacked. I think he needs a little bit more. He needs another win at least.
It's tough, dude.
Um,
He's in a
yeah,
tough
I
spot.
mean, I think Gary should get a title shot over him. To be honest, as Gem Card
I
collectors.
disagree with that one. I think Brady would deserve it more than Gary after eking out that win against Protest, like we talked about a few weeks ago, bro. Protest had him dead to rights, man, dead to rights. Gary was able to sneak away and avoid the getting finished, but he did look good up until the end of the fourth and the fifth.
Yeah, well, I suppose I think it's almost it was going to be Shavkat versus Bilal, so maybe it will be. Well, they're talking about Islam now, so then
Yeah,
Islam's going to frog leap Shavkat. What do you do with Shavkat? You put Shavkat in a fight against Brady. Do you put him, as Gemcard saying, Brady versus Gary would be great, and that
that would be a good
could
one.
be a title contention. But
Uh
as you
huh.
said, then you've got Shavkat sitting on the sidelines too. So
I
who
saw a
knows what's
bit.
going on with that
Damien, I saw a
division now?
pic of Shavkat I think he had just got knee surgery or something. I don't remember what the knee surgery was, but I believe he hurt his knee in that fight with Gary or leading up to that fight. And so he might still kind of be rehabbing and getting back up to 100%. So he could be out a couple more months, depending on how severe that surgery was and that injury was.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know that. Might have to hit him up on Instagram and he can give me some tips
Get
on
some rehab
rehab.
tips.
Yeah, I'll fly out there and go training. Down with that. Big nose, laugh emoji. Not sure completely what that is referring to, but probably the quality of the stream that's going on here at the moment. NFT. I hope Nunes, my PC, doesn't come back. She solidified her legacy. I'm worried she'll lose.
It's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair comment, but I don't know. I think Nunes is that great. I think she could do it.
I'd favor her. I would
I'd,
I
fa-
would
I'd
favor Nunez against
against
Pena
both of those ladies, and I think
and
even
and against Harrison.
yeah, I think even Dana said like she's going to be there at that event watching, and I think she's already said she was been at a few UFC events where she's basically said like yeah she's going to fight the winner. So
Wait, she already confirmed Nunez did?
yeah, she's been in like some
Oh
pre-fight
man,
pro
nice.
contests, and she's basically like yeah nodded at the at the notion that she will want to fight the winner. So is Kayla wait what's his next comment? It's
Oh,
Kayla.
come on, dude. Come on. No,
CT.
she's just ripped, man. She's just ripped.
It's big and has masculine qualities. That can happen sometimes, A lot of people out there in the world. What I will say about Kayla and this Pena fight, it is literally, I think, the battle of cringe versus cringe in terms of how they both act at press conferences. I'm not looking forward to this press conference at all. I think this is a few times now. The main event, like O'Malley's going to get overshined by these two women going back and forth because they both love to sort of cause a bit of drama, say some crazy things to try and get the limelight. So I'm actually not looking forward to this fight prospect 316, but I am very excited for the fight because I think that'll be a very interesting fight. And obviously the main event is my guy Sean O'Malley. Yeah, Nunes' return is unnecessary. Finished off perfectly. Yeah, I agree there. Like obviously she should. It's undebatable at the moment that she is the greatest female fighter that we have ever seen. So, and I think there's a big gap between her and any of the other competitors.
Oh yeah, wait till Zhang Weili takes it to Bullet Shevchenko when they make that super fight, and then she's gonna call out Nunez too, and then she's gonna beat up Nunez. Zhang Weili 3-weight champ. Then she's coming for John Jones once he's done ducking Aspinall too, and she's taking all the belts, dude. It's Magnum time. Pull the strap out of the waist belt. It's Magnum time, dude.
Sounds like you've been buying up some 2020 flagship UFC tops Zhangwei Li rookies over there. You're going to do
I
some
should.
pumping dumping soon, mate. Or make a video on that one.
Yeah, the pump and dump is heavy. No, I like Zhang Weili, and I just wanted to really talk about Shevchenko versus Zhang again, and I want that fight to happen. It'd be cool, because you're talking about two goats. We're talking about Nunez, one of the goats. Make that fight happen. Women's MMA, in my opinion, is kind of in a good spot right now with Kayla Harrison in the mix because she's at least an imposing figure and can get finishes somewhat at will depending on the other partner across from her in that octagon.
Yeah, no, I said I'd be interested to see that fight. If you're talking about Zhang Weili versus Nunes, I'd probably be more worried about Zhang Weili than the other two girls that could potentially take on. So I hope that doesn't happen. But we got some controversy, Zach. Here, you ready for this? Down with that. Bro's trying to keep your channel down.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
It's happened a couple times now, Zach. It's
dude, don't you dare put that on me. Down with it. You just wanted to say down because down's in your name. I feel like that's all he wanted to do with that comment. They're trying to pit us against each other, Damien. Don't let them do it, dude. We got to stay strong together. Don't let them do it.
You know what? I reckon a big feud between us would generate some numbers. I reckon that might get the get the views going. Actually, you know how negative goes here on YouTube.
We just go Colby and start chaos online.
Got to get below and JD understanding. Yep, that was a good fight. That one.
Great fight, man. Great fight. And I'm glad JDM won. So it was entertaining. Bilal, put up a good performance. He can keep his chin up. He can keep his like shredded lip up. And JDM got the title. The world's happy because we get good matchups at welterweight. So I think, the universe was aligned on that one. A lot of wins.
CT just correct himself there. He meant dog fight, not Bob fight. But
yeah, I was wondering what Bob meant. I thought it was some acronym that I'm too dumb to know. I was like, yeah, Bob fight. Yeah, it was.
Down with that's having a laugh, and he's going to say, "Don't go jail style."
Damien's ready, dude. He's got the hater hat sometimes. He's freaking ready to go Uncle Chael.
Oh, man, Zach, I'm telling you, you don't want that hater hat on my head and me talking about boxing. I'm trading, I'll tell you. But speaking of 316, I also want to get from you guys here right now. Let us know. And obviously, if you're watching this back again, Ty, you can let me know in the comments below. I'm a little bit torn about this. What's the best way to watch big pay-per-view events as we lose Zach? That's right. We don't need Zach for this one. What do you guys think? The problem I have at the moment is as we get Zach back. Down with that time.
Maybe that one was on me, dude. Maybe that one was on me.
What's the best way to watch big pay-per-view events? So Zach, the problem I have at the moment, 316. It's my favorite. Not even favorite UFC athlete, my favorite athlete of all time. We've got Sugar Sean O'Malley coming up against Merab Dvalishvili, who he lost the title to previously in September last year. This is a big event. I reckon this is not only a big fight for O'Malley. I could say this is probably the biggest fight of his career because this fight could, sort of put him in the direction of the rest of the trajectory of his career. He's getting an undeserved title rematch, I will say. You can say all you want about, the top other fighters division have lost to Merab previously, blah, blah, blah. But I can sit here and admit I think there were better fights to be made. I think Sean should have got one more in, maybe even against Sandhagen before this one. But regardless, I'm that type of person. I talked about this before on videos before during collabs. My heart rate goes up to about 110 just sitting there when, O'Malley's doing his walkout. And we all know what it's like to watch an event at home compared to watching it maybe, with a social group. Maybe you already know some mates and friends that you regularly watch events with, or you go to a pub or a club somewhere, or some sports bar, and you watch the event with a lot of other people. So I'm a little bit interested to know what's the best way that you guys, when you're watching, a massive. I'm not just talking about any pay-per-view event or any UFC event. I can happily watch that in any situation, but a UFC event, you want to be dialed in, where your eyes are locked to the screen, where you're fully focused in on what's happening during the fight. Is it best to watch that at home, or what do you think? Do you think the social aspect of getting some mates involved and having a joke around here and there, or such a big event? What would you do?
I think it depends on kind of who's fighting, because like you're saying, if it's one of my favorite guys, I kind of want to be locked in. I kind of want to be by myself. If they end up losing or something, I might go cry somewhere. So I don't want people to be seeing that and be crying in public. So if it's like a hardcore, and I'm kind of like this with all sports games, like the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl, they were my team. I got invited. I was like, no, I'm watching it at the house, and they ended up getting blown out, and I made a good decision on that. But I think it depends on the fight. But there are pros and cons to both, right? Like watching fights by yourself it can kind of almost be like recharging. It's super relaxing. You have a lot of downtime in between fights. You can just kind of mindlessly sit there or work on something in the background, versus like if you go and hang out with your buddies, you're joking, you're chopping it up in between fights, you're having a good time. But like when finishes happen, when crazy stuff happens, it's always more exciting when other people are there with you. So kind of some pros and cons. I guess it depends on what you feel like for that night. What vibe are you in? Are you trying to hang out with the boys and be charged up, or are you just trying to kind of relax? So as always, I'm cheating with my answer. It depends.
It does depend. I do agree, as you said. If it was just a normal UFC event, yeah, watch that in any atmosphere. But when it's an athlete that you were really dialed into, that you're a super fan of, I think it's best to watch it alone, because you can go through the ride of the emotions that are going to, because this is such a roller coaster sport in terms of watching it as a fan of a particular fighter or athlete. So I think I myself will definitely be locking in, probably on the single lazy boy couch, and trying to cheer O'Malley on from the comfort of my own home. As you said, if he loses, I can have the box of Kleenex tissues there ready to rock.
You could fold up into the fetal position and get a nice little cry nap in the bed.
CT MMA, Damien Marabo and Sean O'Malley.
Oh, he's starting trouble, dude.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, that fight was so one-sided. I watched it back before. O'Malley did have some success, and I mean, if you look against Marab against a lot of other opponents, I think Marab, like O'Malley had some spots where he did well, but it was a dominating fight overall. But yeah, I'm hopefully, like, this 6 months that O'Malley's been off social media and seems to be locking in and injury free, which it's very hard to come into a fight injury free if you've had a pretty big fight camp. But we'll see what happens with that. Bar with comfy chairs, unless you've got mates that are free to watch as well, then home big screen TV. So it's down with that. So yeah, as I said, I was the previous event, Volkanovski versus Diego. I was in a random Australian bar in Thailand watching that one, and that was great, just to sort of be around a lot of other people who were cheering for Volkanovski as well. However, CTMMA. However, I will be rooting for your boy O'Malley, since Marab on further review did not beat him. We don't get on this card yet. Yep.
Me too, man. I'm rooting for Sugar Sean too. I hope he kicks him. He kicks him somewhere real hard, dude. Kicks him real hard and finishes him. Marab's been he's been an okay champion as far as entertainment outside of the UFC, but the only reason that Umar fight was entertaining at all was Umar, striking with him. Marab's just going to shoot for a million takedowns. I think we're ready. I think we're ready as the UFC collective to kind of move on from Marab. Maybe we get O'Malley wins, then they do Sandhagen O'Malley. That would be a really fun matchup. Two guys that love to bang. Sandhagen's very well rounded too. So does he try and take Sugar Sean down? I think that'd be a fun stylistic matchup. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going for your boy too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting if O'Malley does win this one, where his career takes off that. But I think he has one or two fights at bantamweight. As I said, the next fight would have to be against Sandhagen. Depends on Sandhagen. Sandhagen's probably going to take a fight in the meanwhile, and obviously win or loss of that. But I think that would be a fun fight to see title, and who knows. But I don't want to really see O'Malley being a featherweight either. Just to look up better. So. But that brings us pay-per-view buys recap for 315. JDM. Now I'll go to mine first, because I had this card up for Jose Aldo. Obviously, Jose Aldo had a good fight. Probably won that fight. But anyway, Jose Aldo retires, puts the gloves down. I had this card up. It did pretty well. It had 22 views, 9 watches. But as I said, if this one doesn't sell during the event, I think this one will be picked up by some collective moving forward in terms of the set that it's in, and being PSA 10 should keep it relatively desirable in the future anyway. But this was a no sale for me. But as I said, did get some good watches and some good views on that one. But you, Zach, we are talking about the main event when we come to you. You had this loyalty card here up, the JDM on card auto out of 25.
Yep.
There we go.
Before we talk about JDM, I want to talk about how shredded Jose Aldo is at his age. What is he doing, man? He is so freaking shredded, and he still looked lightning fast. Like, that guy is aging really well. So I would like to know his fitness routine, his diet, what's he doing? Obviously, he's doing a lot of boxing and MMA training, but he still looked pretty sharp, man. So that was a fun performance. It was kind of sad to see him just getting elbows and ground and pounded there towards the end of the fight. But yeah, I thought he showed out pretty well for his age. The JDM, man, sadly, it did not sell, Damien. That was the perfect fight that JDM had to put on. It was either a crazy finish or just a dog fight. That's usually, you know, what gets the fans. It gets the people going, and it's what happened. And I still didn't make the sale. I didn't even get any offers, man. I really thought I was at least going to get some type of offers on this. There was a lot of views, a lot of watchers. I think there was 14 or 15 watchers. So I recently lowered the price a little bit. Maybe it'll hit on the next fight announcement when they announce Islam. Maybe it'll hit during fight week next time, but it still is up for sale. Sad day, dude. Sad day.
That is very surprising. I honestly thought you were going to come in with balloons, confetti. I was ready to, you know, drop the beat for this one because I thought this was for sure going to sell. Given, as I said, it's the latest product that we've had released on card auto. It's a nice looking card as well, relatively low serial numbers, and JDM just put on a massive performance, won the belt for the first time. Yeah, I'm shocked, Zach. I am shocked to hear that you have not sold this one. But as you said,
sales.
He'll have the biggest fight of his career to date, obviously,
Yep.
you know, winning the belt. But not only that, coming up against Islam now. Hopefully later on in the year they get that fight done, still in the 2025 calendar. But hopefully we get some movement there, and we'll be able to show this one if we can. And we'll hold the balloons.
Oh yeah,
Hold the balloons for that.
I'll just be
We go
throwing that money around, dude. Once that sale happens.
We'll go back to comments. We have Steve T. Like a disco flashing light over here. It's about to go dead. Man, we are killing it over here.
What is happening, dude? That's hilarious. This is the perfect episode of blunders behind the scenes. This is awesome. You're about to have an epileptic seizure live. You know how many views that would get, Damien? Freaking just sell out and have a seizure right now, dude.
All right. CT. As CT says, Umar destroyed Corey. I think Umar deserves next up. So yeah, I think obviously Umar just fought for the title against Merab. I think he'll be one away. Again, maybe a 1 or 2 away, depending on the movement at the other top of the division there. Also, Eldom card, that's some shine beauty. Yeah, it is a really nice looking card from a very nice set. The finest bloodlines there.
Oh, gee.
JDM card will sell. He's only 28.
I hope so, man. Hope so.
Down with that. PED's Aldo. Yeah, you got to worry about I was watching this thing with Paulo Costa. And back when they had USADA, so basically USADA would just outsource the testing to some Brazilian company.
Oh, when it was in Brazil, when they were doing Brazilian tests? Wow.
Which is pretty dodgy, right? Like,
that's wild, dude. You can't do that. That's the whole point of having the organization is to be international.
Yeah. Well, apparently not, because they just outsource it to someone else. CT may agree with that with the LOL comment. Down with that. Aldo said he will be nearly 50. Yeah.
What was that?
Always been a question. So Aldo said he will be 50 in 5 years. So I think there's always been some speculation around Aldo's age.
Is he lying about it? What's that about?
Yeah, I think a lot of people say it's like the Yo Romero thing, right? People think he's
Hmm,
actually older than what he says he is. But
interesting.
obviously,
Is
you
that
don't
like
have to.
gamesmanship to your opponents so they don't see you as weakness, or is that like a paperwork deal? Like I wonder, that's kind of a weird storyline. I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, I don't know. Nice, but we got that siding thing. We should have did this at the top. This was bad planning on my behalf. This is what the people want to see. I thought it would be fun, Zach, to go over to the eBay and we can check to see what have been some massive sales this past month, these past 3 months. What's been selling on the eBay? Who's been selling? And we'll get some takes. Um, get some takes on what our thoughts are. Bring it up. I'm going to head over here so we can see in the sold listings on eBay at the moment. We can see this, Zach. I'm not just
Yep, I see it.
got a rookie error because here's
I,
Mackenzie Dern. We've got this finest 101 Aldo super refractor, 4,500 US. What do we think about
ooh,
that one, Zach?
that's awesome, man. That's a big sale. What month did that sell? I'm not touching my computer anymore because I don't want any glitches to happen.
So I'll
And
keep
the
the
window's
glitches
really
going.
small.
I'll keep going. So yeah, this one is sold March 5th. One bid. That's a surprisingly big sale. Um, as I said, I'm not sure regarding whether this is Mackenzie's first on card auto, whether it's not a first auto. Certainly far from a rookie card as well. So that's a big sale for Mackenzie Dern.
That's
We have a few.
surprising to me because it's not rookie year. I mean, it is a really nice card, on card super fractor, but that's kind of a surprising one. I guess people are speculating. It only had one bid, so is that even real, Damien? What? That's weird, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see, go into the. Let's go into the listing. See if where the bid was in terms of. One positive feedback. Yeah, you never know with sales like this. Um, but yeah, I mean, if it is real, that is a good sale. We've got these Connor autos here, 6 in total, all on card autos, with obviously authentication from PSA 2,400 for a bunch of signed Connor cards. We've got Buffer. We've got Zach here. Is this your card, Zach? PSA 5. You got a PSA. Is yours a PSA 6?
Can you hear me?
I can hear.
Yeah, mine is. What was? Is that 13 hundo?
No, it's more than that.
That's crazy,
18,
dude.
$1,900.
Oh my
Buy it
gosh,
as a bin. Buy it now. PSA 5 for the first auto 2009 tops round one.
that's crazy.
With
That's my
scratch.
exact card. That is like way higher than I bought into mine.
I think, yeah, I think slowly these, we're going to see another one in a minute. But these round one autos are starting to get some love for sure. We have a Royalty 101 for Dustin with the Venom patch. 45 bids, $1,525. That's another pretty big sale. I mean, Royalty seems to be getting some attention in terms of desirability. We have this John Casaneda Prism rookie auto 101, 1,500. But yeah, we have this 2009 tops
Ooh,
round
that's
one
nice.
Anderson Silver first auto 1,400. That was a buy it now as well. So that one's not too far off from obviously the PSA 5 getting a bit more for Hoyce.
Dude, that's a card that I want to have one day. One of those Andy Silva rookie round one autos. That is a nice card, man. I just like
What do you think?
visually, it's really nice.
As somebody who wants that card, what's your thoughts on the pricing for this one?
I haven't dug into comps. I haven't dug into pop reports. I haven't dug into any of that. There's a couple of cards that I need that are not that I need that I want to buy before I start looking into that one heavy. So it would be all just kind of guesswork trying to talk about pricing right now. But I mean, long term, I think that, I don't think that's necessarily a crazy buy. You're talking about one of the, maybe a top 5 guy of all time, top 5 in my opinion, for his, rookie auto debut product. Really nice image, good design for 1400. I feel like that is, not too far off from what it should be.
I'm not sure if we have any of the. It would be good to know like a rough population. Obviously, these first autos weren't numbered, but I would love to know like if there is an estimate. So if anyone knows, obviously in the comments below, and you've stuck around this long, let us know if you have a rough estimate, because we have a rough estimate on the gold parallels for round 1 were not serial numbered per se, but there is a pretty close estimation from some of the OG UFC card collectors out there. They're about 465 copies each of the gold. So I wonder if someone also has a rough estimation or a pretty close estimation on what these first autos are populated at, because that would be very interesting to know as well.
That would be. I know, looking at graded pop reports, it's insanely low, man. Like when you're talking about combining, even if you combine all the grading companies, they are like stupid low for that round 1 stuff.
And then we have another Julian Pena, one like on card auto. This royalty, man, it's
That's
bringing in
wild.
$1,250 as a buy now as well.
Hey, $20 shipping too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're getting that thing pretty heavily insured if you're sending that. So for that sort of price, but once again, like that's a surprising sale, I would think. And even as I said, this back one for Dustin, like I get it's a royalty, it's a Venom patch, won't be from any specific.
April, so that is kind of, you're getting pretty close to royalty release day. What's that, like 2 weeks? 2 weeks from royalties release, maybe 3 weeks. So like I would assume that all of these royalty sales are going to slowly get down, but 45 bids, like that's pretty active. So there definitely was a lot of eyes on the royalty stuff.
The really contained on this card does not come from any specific match or event. So yeah, it was not a specific patch. But once again, like you guys wouldn't have seen. I just realized you wouldn't have seen anyway. But yeah, that I just checked it in the background here, guys, and that was not a specific patch or anything. But once again, I said 101. I understand it's a 101, and it's I suppose it's a nice looking card, but you could get a first auto or a really nice copy of his rookie card for that sort of pricing as well. But I mean, as I said, I think there's a lot of people out there who are loving this royalty stuff. So
yeah, the buff sales have been astronomical. And when you're talking about some of the buff sales from, this product that came out, and he's been signing in a lot of products, and then you compare that with his rookie auto, it's like what world are we living in where any of those royalty cards should be going for that much more of a premium than his true rookie first auto stuff? To me, that's insane.
we have this 2016 Leaf Originals, the Hoist Gracie Rainbow. Got Topps Panini obviously in it, search engine wise, but
that's an interesting card. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I wonder if I won't be able to share. I'll have to work this out in the background for next time. But if I click on this listing now and increase that size, then you guys won't be able to see that, which is what's been happening. But we've got some Paddy sales now too, which April 16th. Hopefully, we're getting a few days out from his big win against Michael Chandler. We've got that Mojo Prism in the PSA 10 selling for $1,000 as a buy it now, and then we have his Kaboom. Which, as I've mentioned this before with previous, like these 2022 Kabooms, they're always selling quick, and they're always selling for a good dollar.
That's surprising to me.
PSA 9 or 10 value. Like
because well, what do you think that reason is? Why is 22 selling for more than? I mean, that's his rookie, so that makes sense. But like, just in general, why are the 22 Kaboom selling more than the 2023 Kabooms when 23 Kaboom were in hobby boxes, and this was just one of those online pack releases from Panini. That doesn't
Yeah,
make
I
sense
think
to me.
I think that detail gets forgotten amongst most people. I mean, obviously, kabooms are a massive uh, product in other sports. 2022 being the first year, I actually think that 2022 looks better. Some of the images choices were poor. O'Malley has a really good one, but I've been trying to pick up a Kaboom O'Malley. As I
Yeah,
said,
that's the one where he's
even
shooting a J, right? He's shooting a J
yeah,
on that one. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
good card.
But yeah, you can't get them. Like they go so quick, and they're not going for cheap. Like even the raw ones go for about $700, and you're talking PSA 9 and 10s. You're up like anywhere between 700 and 1,000 consistently. So,
Oh,
as
the
we go,
Bo Nickel sale,
we go,
dude.
we go from one, prospect in 2022 who's working out here to a guy who's just fallen off the MMA world, but I think he'll be back for sure. But this Bo Nickel liquid silver insert, which we've talked about before, these beautiful cards.
Super nice, man. Super nice.
44 bids, $910, April 27th. So that would have been probably before. That was before the. I think that was before.
Oh yeah, it would make sense that it was pre-hype, a pre-hype buy. Dude, 44 bids. That's some action on that, man. And those liquid silver, that might be my card of the year as far as design goes. Like, I think that is a beautiful card. I can only imagine how much they shine in person, man. But Bo Nickel, dude, cautionary tale. Now, I'm with you. I do think he'll come back. I think he'll have a somewhat successful UFC run, but is he ever going to live up to those pricing? I would say definitely not.
No, definitely not. I think, yeah. I think, as I said, he could become champion. I don't think we'll have some of the sales that we've had seen for him previously, which is just as you said, the cautionary tale. Sometimes it comes to prospecting, and it doesn't make sense, but it's how it is at the moment. We had this John Jones 2010, very nice. I love these.
That is a nice card.
These autos from 2010. It's a really cool image, really well done. The name in ball letter there, great picture of the fighter. This is for all of them as well, obviously not just John Jones. They're a sticker auto, which is the only thing you can knock against them, but still, these are a very nice card. That one's selling for $899, one bid. Come down to Peloton now. And the Intimidator's black, number to 25. That one's selling for the buy now at $900. That's a pretty strong sale too for that one.
Yeah, that's a little surprising.
You can pick up a gold of those pretty cheap, which would double the population, but you wouldn't. I think the gold you can get for around 300. So that one's pretty surprising as well, as we have a lot of 2009 round 2 John Bones Jones rookie cards. How many is there? We've got 10 there in total. We've got one gold.
Yeah, a lot of 11. I like that. I think that's kind of an interesting pickup. I would be curious. I haven't looked at a Jones rookie in a while because I have one, but I'm curious what the pricing is on those now. But the gold, for the gold alone, that's an interesting pickup. You could price out the gold and then kind of flip some of those silvers or try and grade the best ones. That's an interesting play there.
I was going to be my question. I think this would be a fun one, as we'll wrap it up at that, as we're getting out of time here at the moment. But if you were to pick up, Zach, finishing question before we head to the comments, before jumping out of this live, if you were to pick up that lot of John Jones rookie cards with one gold, what would your plan of attack be? Would you grade all of them? Would you grade half of them? Would you take the best 3 maybe? What would be your plan of attack in terms of picking up that lot, and what would your plans be?
I mean, I would need to do some research, right? I would need to do some research. What are PSA 8s? What are PSA 9s selling for? How many PSA 10s are there? Like, is it even a realistic goal that any of those would turn into a PSA 10? Obviously, you look over all of them. I would be looking to flip some of those silvers. There's so many. Or were they base or silvers?
No, they were bases.
They were base. Okay. So I'd be looking to flip those for sure. And I think I would keep the gold depending on condition for sure for like a long-term hold, and then try and flip some of those of the base card. Now, depending on how they look, depending on what the pop reports and what the data says, maybe you try and grade a couple of them. Maybe if they come back eights, you're able to get, you know, a little bit of premium, subtracting the grading cost. But I would definitely keep that gold long term. That's a pretty sick card and a good find right there.
Will you definitely be getting that graded no matter the condition?
Ooh,
I'm not talking like it's been run. I'm not been run over by.
yeah,
You know,
depends on
truck,
the pop report, man. I mean, if there was a ton of them, if it's like most of these other old school vintage UFC, you know, round two maybe is a little bit better than round one. But like, if there's a ton of them that are coming back, you know, 5 to 8, then maybe I do get it graded. And I'm like, there's already a ton of 5s. Like, it's not even a big hit if it is comes back a 5 or 6. So it would depend on the pop report after looking at that stuff.
Yeah, no,
What
I
about you?
definitely. I don't know if I would look at the pop record so much, but I think I would be checking over the condition. I mean, to be honest, I would if I was buying that lot of 11, I would assume that the seller has already done that.
Probably.
In terms of, you know, if they were smart, they would be keeping the ones that are in better condition. And, you know, this is just a lot of 11 that are left over. So you are getting the gold in there too, which I think I would be grading no matter what, even if it looked like a 6 or a 7. Like, I would still get that graded for the sake of having that one, you know, capsule, and it's got a numerical grade on it for longer term purposes. I just probably hang on to it when the 2009 stuff does try to peak more at value. And then, yeah, the base ones, as I do agree, you'll be checking over condition. You'd probably be getting 10 bases, maybe 5 of them, you would look at grading. As I said, depending on grade, you wouldn't want to be, you know, as you said, getting lower than an 8, which I wouldn't expect 10s either, or even 9s. But if you're putting something in thinking that it's a solid 8, a chance at a solid 8, I think that would be worth grading for sure, because I think even when you're talking about 2009 stuff, which breaks all the rules in terms of grading, PSA 8 is going to go more than what the raw version would. So if you can get a PSA 8, I think that would be worth spending the $22 or whatever it is on getting it graded. But a fun one to finish off. I did have one more topic, but as I said, I am a little bit time sensitive today, so we're going to have to skip that question for the next time around, which we will prompt the people again. Get your comments down, as I said, whether you get them in the chat now right at the end. We won't have time to answer them on today's live, but we obviously will get back to them at a future collab, which will be on your channel, Zach, and we're going to have that one leading into this massive event for me, UFC 316, that I'm very pumped about. As we lose Zach's picture again, but that's all right. We're at the end of the live here. We've still got you audio-wise, Zach.
Bro.
Oh, no, you're back.
I saw that. The little stop cam thing just turned red in the middle of recording. It's so weird. But at least I know how to look for that next time and to fix it real fast.
We finish off here. Oh, cool, eBay. What do you all think about that John Jones UFC finals bloodlines? I think would you get that one? Maybe we'll give our opinions on that on a future one, CT. We'll get through the rest of these live chats. As I said, I'm a little bit time poor. I've got some things I need to get to in the next few minutes. So, guys, FB dude brought it. Facebook, maybe. FB. I'm not sure what you mean by FB without doing that, but Zach in the championship rounds. Yep, we're all in the championship rounds at the moment. This is
the mic's struggling, dude.
Jack in KC. Good to see you, man.
What's up, dude?
Thanks for coming by. There was a huge run on round 1. So, yeah, obviously speaking about those autos. And I think that's going to continue to happen. As I said, I think from here on out, it should. I mean, as I said, I think collectors who have just come in over the last year or two, as we have done in our own journey, Zach, you know, we weren't looking at round 1 when we first got in, but your attention ends up leading there anyway. And I think that's going to happen for a lot of people over the next 5-10 years. Royalty is a sick product. Finally got my first royalty card today. Nice word, Gem Card. Was it wonder if it was an Ilya. Hopefully you got an Ilya order. I know
that first auto, dude. It's gonna be that's gonna be a hitter.
Card is chasing hard for his first auto of his guy Ilya there. Jack and KC, round 1 autos of the big boys has basically dried up. Prices have gone way up. So that's a good point too. As I said, I'm sure these cards have technically been in circulation now, Zach, for 16 years, 15, 16 years. So maybe those cards have been pulled and they've been, surfacing around the different secondary platforms, sales platforms, and at shows, and they're getting bought up. And if I was to buy, even if I bought a first order of hoist at $1,000 or whatever, or $500, you're not going to sell it for less than that when you get your hands on it.
Right.
So that's a very good point, Jack.
Yeah, maybe we're seeing more of the collecting mindset with some of these vintage cards, whereas with the modern stuff, I feel like a ton of people buy in, basically with the mindset of I'm going to buy and then potentially try and flip this. Whereas with the vintage, I think it's the complete opposite. And maybe like Jack's saying, maybe we're seeing that in the reflection of the pricing, where like when I bought those vintage cards, like I'm not selling them, I'm keeping them forever. And the demand has continued to go up as people are learning about it, as Chicken's doing breaks, as kind of we've been banging the drum. Joe's Card Stash has been banging the drum for vintage for a while. I think people are finally kind of just starting to realize the potential value in those and just how cool they are. So I'm really happy to see that the vintage market is really surging.
Yeah. No, we've talked about it quite a bit recently. And as I said, I think, at all the points you said, I think the attention is just certainly starting to head that way. And I think it'll be like that for a while. And they say roughly 200 or so on the round one.
That's cool.
Oh, thanks for letting us know that, Jack.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's good to know. Heard that from Telly. Good to know, G. Yeah, nice to know. So there we go. Jack answering the question we put out before about the rough estimate of population for those first unserial numbered round one autos. CT with the last thing we're discussing. I grade all those rookie John Jones and sell that lot with matching serial numbers. Not a bad strategy as well. Matty Mac, Hamzat versus DDP going to be awesome.
Man.
Yeah,
it's the chaos, dude. That is going to be such a fun build up to the fight and such a fun fight. I'm really excited for that matchup.
I'm really excited. So speaking of pref contests, I'm excited for. That's going to be a good one. DDP's managed to make his last 3 opponents cry. I don't think he'll be doing that to Hamzat, but
he's witty, dude. He's witty.
He's a really funny dude, and as I said, I think DDP should be one guy who'd be getting more love at the moment. But we'll see what happens with that Hamzat fight. Gem card collection, unfortunately not an Ilio. Venom Page out of 10, rookie patch auto. I think he's a decent buy at the moment. Yeah, so solid buy as well, and we were both pulling for you to get that first Ilio auto at some point.
Yes, sir. You need it, man. You need it,
man. Definitely need it. CT finishing it off. Hamzat DDP fight of the year. Yeah, definitely a candidate, and it's going to be a fun one. We've got some really, really good events coming up. Dustin versus Max too, coming up.
That's a good matchup, man. It just feels right. Both of those guys kind of getting into the last, arc of their career. Could potentially be the Diamond's last fight ever. It's kind of like a, not a rivalry, but like it's a revisit of an old matchup. Like it seems right. And I was glad that they booked that one.
Yeah, it's a fight to make for sure. Matty Mac, great job again, fellas. Yeah, we struggled through this.
Bro, this was a tough one.
I mean, anyone who knows at least, I mean, we all appreciate you guys hanging in at the moment. We've got 8 people here finishing off, sign off the show. I'm happy with that, to be completely honest. We're here to, connect with you guys, as we mentioned before. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to have problems. That's what's just going to happen
we overcome, we dig deep, and we get better, Damien. We get better every time, dude. My mic shut off 20 times. Damien kept his cool. He didn't yell at me like he does behind the scenes. This guy's a tyrant sometimes on the show, guys. You guys don't even know. But we kept coming, dude. Hopefully it was a good episode. Again, before we sign off, if you have any comments, any questions, it could be about matchups. It could be about cards. Literally any questions are so fun for us to answer. It's good topics for the show. And it gets us, outside of our normal thinking pattern, and it's fun to, just answer different questions. So in the comments, be sure to leave questions if you have any about anything.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach. Thanks. Great way to finish off the show. Let's go, O'Malley. Yep. That's a good little segue too. We will be having, of course, our usual collab back on Zach's channel before the UFC 316. So we've got that one scheduled, and that one will be coming to you fight week. So we look forward to seeing you all, guys, then. Appreciate you all for coming by, hitting that like button, and we will see you again very, very soon over at Zach's channel for the next one. Bye, everyone.
See ya.